Mindfulness is an approach to life that's developed with practice over time. So it's not a one-off. Mindfulness is paying attention to the here and now with kindness and curiosity. It's about being aware of the relationship that you have with your own self, with your body, mind, emotions, and your physical body. It's about your relationship with the people around you. It's about relationship with the planet as well. My name is Heidi Bornstein. I'm the founder of Mindfulness Everyday. And Mindfulness Everyday is a registered Canadian charity, and we've been delivering mindfulness programs in the community with a focus on education for the past 10 years. I started off meditating when I was a teen, and on my first trip to Europe, I was living on Ios, a Greek island. There was about 10 of us that were living there. And somebody gave us a book on meditation. Nobody knew anything about meditation, but we would gather on my balcony every night at sunset, and we would read the book and we would practice meditation. And that led me into an interest in it, which eventually led me to India. To deepen my practice, I found a teacher and an ashram, and I actually spent 15 years studying yoga and meditation in the Himalayas. We had to come back every 3 years to get a visa. One of those trips I came back and the universe tilted at that moment. And all of a sudden, even though I'd had a house in India, I had a community in India, I ended up in Toronto. And it was time. I had spent enough time developing my own practice, and I really wanted to see how it could be brought to others. I was looking at what was happening in the state of the world, and I really felt that meditation had helped me so much in my own life that it would be helpful to others. I created a program called Yoga Yoga, which was for the 20-minute DPA, daily fitness allotment. They had cut so much phys out of schools, and then they found out they needed to put it back in, so they mandated 20 minutes of daily fitness. But they, of course, mandated it without a plan. So I created a pilot program called Yoga Yoga, where we went into every single class in an elementary school, 240 kids in one day, and did 20 minutes of yoga with them. I actually met my partner, Stephen Chadwick, on eHarmony. That was the transition into that. And he's a retired school teacher. He's also interested in meditation, and particularly interested in bringing meditation to kids. And through a contact of his, there was a program called Learning to Breathe that was looking for facilitators to pilot it with grade 9s. And this was a mindfulness program that was based on the mindfulness-based stress reduction program created by Jon Kabat-Zinn. So we became trained as mindfulness-based stress reduction facilitators, and we piloted this Learning to Breathe program with grade 9s at Ridgeview Collegiate in Etobicoke. When I started teaching these girls, something went off in me, and it was like, this is it. This is what I want to be doing. It was such a rich opportunity, and I love working with teenagers. They're just at that point in their lives where they're trying to figure out who they are, big one, who am I, and what am I going to do with my life? There's a school in the area that we live in called R.H. King. It's a leadership academy. It's a high school. And what happened there is the kids were going to the guidance department, and they were saying that they were really stressed out, feeling overwhelmed, unable to handle the stresses of being in high school. The social worker at the school had taken the MBSR program at North York General and said, wow, this program was so helpful to me, I bet it would be helpful to teens. So we created a pilot program, an 8-week pilot program that was composed of 20 students from grade 9 to 12 and 5 teachers. We delivered it after school. There was an action-based research study that was done on the program. And it was amazing. And what was amazing about it is, first of all, this was an after school, this was voluntary, the kids weren't getting anything out of it, and we actually had consistent attendance. Because from day one, these kids felt that it was so beneficial to them in terms of focus, attention, stress management, emotion regulation, and generally feeling better about themselves that they kept coming. The teachers who came also got so much out of it for themselves that they said this program should be part of curriculum. And as a result, we have been part of the grade 9 leadership curriculum for about 9 years. You're not going to find schools that can have the money to hire mindfulness experts to come into schools and teach these programs. So the program we deliver as part of the grade 11 leadership is a 12-session program that's delivered once a week to the kids. So what we started to realize is that if we really wanted to reach more kids, we would have to train the teachers. The level of stress and burnout is really, really high in the profession right now. So we can't really be expecting kids to acquire qualities of calmness and ability to be able to respond to situations when all the adults in their lives are not displaying those qualities. And we found a program called Smart in Education, which is now part of UBC Faculty of Education. To date, we've trained over, I would say we're up at 600 educators in Ontario. We have over 20 facilitators that are training teachers to be able to learn mindfulness skills for themselves. They're modeling the qualities that we want to see in their kids. So they're actually being mindful, and that's what the kids are responding to. Right now, to be perfectly honest, the teachers that take our program, for the most part, they do it on their own time and they do it on their own dime. So what I would like to see is I would like to see more funding and more support for teachers to get this skill set. Teachers have lives. They're dealing with all sorts of issues in their own lives. They have to be able to be totally present when they show up in school. They want to be able to be totally present for their kids and their families. So what we found is that the program in teaching educators is that it's both personally and professionally helpful. Right now in Ontario, kids are not taught about the neurobiology of stress until grade 11 phys ed, and that's if they're still in phys ed. So kids don't actually understand what's happening in their bodies. After one of those lessons, I had a student come back to me, and he had been so inspired that he went and did his own research. And he found a Scientific American article that had to do with the impacts of stress and making decisions. And he came back and he said, I just read this article about what happens in your brain when you're stressed out, and nobody should be making decisions when they're stressed out. And I said, I know, that's why we want to bring this program to you. The other thing that we bring into our teaching is healthy habits. What we bring in is what happens in their brains when they don't get enough sleep. And we've actually started to change the sleep patterns in grade 11 by making them aware of how they're able to function when they actually get a good night's sleep. So we talk about sleep, we talk about nutrition, we talk about getting good exercise, and then we talk about mindfulness. We've had kids say that it was probably the most important course that they got in high school because it wasn't defined just by high school. It was a life skills course. We also teach a class on happiness where we really investigate, like, what is happiness? What is it for me? What do I need to make myself happy? I think we do a pretty good job on having kids really investigate who they are. One of my favorite parts of this course is we do a culminating project, and it's called Who Am I? And we invite the kids to not do it electronically. We invite it to be a collage or to use some sort of art, which a lot of the kids, when they were little, used to do all the time and love. And this is another thing that they've forgotten that they loved. And they said, you know, it was really amazing. I started to remember all of these things that I love to do, and now I'm going to make more time to do them. And it's like it opened up the blinders to let them see the richness of their lives. It used to be that we were always trying to prove why mindfulness was work. And now that platform, that foundation has been laid, and now it's more, how are we going to do it? So we're constantly investigating what are the ways that we can reach kids where they're at. You know, we're not maybe trying to turn them into meditators where they can just sit with their eyes closed on a cushion for half an hour. We're trying to bring in this idea of mindful awareness into the things that they're already doing.